admit it. At least one, if not all of these fighters on this list here today, you have expected to lose at least once, if not repeatedly throughout their career. And yet, somehow, some way, they keep defying the odds. They keep on winning to the point where we have all come to appreciate them as fans. Some of us are completely not there yet. But a lot of the time, we look at it, and when all is said and done, you have to appreciate how great they have come to be, even though throughout their whole careers, they have been underestimated. So today I'm going to be getting into a list of the most underestimated fighters in recent UFC history, and I want to know if you guys agree with this list, if there's anybody else I should add. But before I do, if you wouldn't mind, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps grow the channel. So this isn't in any particular order, but because he's top of mind right now, I'm going to say Paddy the Baddy. Paddy the Baddy right off the hop. I think he gets underestimated every single fight. And yes, he did have that fight with Jared Gordon, which was close. He won. A lot of people thought it was a robbery. But literally every fight, and I know you guys are all making excuses, but literally every single fight he has, right? There is a huge amount of the fan base who are going out of their way to say, man, he's getting dog walked this time, right? I know a bunch of people thought he was supposed to get his butt kicked by Chandler. What happened? He completely ragdolled him. What happened next? What happened before that? Bobby Green. A lot of people thought Bobby Green was going to piece him up on the feet. Nope. Paddy's striking was so good and so powerful. Bobby Green was the one who shot for a takedown. Now, I think everybody expected Tony to lose, right? But at the end of the day, there were still some people like, this is going to be the one where Tony gets it back, right? And so there have been all of these fights where, the fan base is saying, Paddy can't handle this. Paddy can't handle this. And yet he continues to pull through. And right now, me as a fan, I look at it and I'm like, I think he's actually one of the best guys in the division. I really do. I think he has a great chance against some of those top guys. Like, I think he beats Poirier. I think he beats Justin Gaethje. I think he would have a really close fight with Arman Tsarukyan. I think he would beat Charles Oliveira. I think he has a really good chance against Ilya even. And a lot of you guys think I'm out of my mind, but like, he's big. He's got great grappling. His jiu-jitsu is great. He seems to have a pretty decent chin. And I think he'd come up with a really good game plan that would surprise everybody. So Paddy the Baddy is one of those guys. I think he's constantly underestimated. He's one of the guys that you love to hate, right? And I think he's going to keep proving people wrong. I think the only guy at lightweight he wouldn't be able to beat right now, like I'm very on the fence about Ilya, but the other guy's Islam. I don't think anybody at lightweight beats Islam, no matter who they are. I don't think Ilya even has a chance, to be quite honest. Another guy on this list that constantly gets underestimated is Ian Gary. Like, he's so good, right? I know he had that close fight with Michael Venom Page. I know he lost to Shavkat, but in that fight with Shavkat, he took it on short notice. Everybody thought he was getting dominated, right? But he took it to a decision. It looked like he got Shavkat's back at one point. It looked like he was getting close to getting the submission. We thought that he was going to get KO'd by Prates, but he absolutely dominated him in the striking. There was a few minutes there where it looked a little bit scary in that final round. But other than that, he came with a flawless game plan. And constantly and consistently, he gets underestimated by the MMA community, by MMA fans, and I truly think that he has what it takes to become champion. I think he could do really, really well against JDM. I think he could do really, really well if they ever do a rematch with Shavkat. He's one of those guys that I think is going to be in the conversation of, welterweight champion for years to me. He's not even 30 yet, I don't think. So he's constantly, consistently underestimated, and I think he's going to be a champ. The next guy on my list is Dricus du Plessis. How many times have we thought that this guy is going to lose his belt? First of all, how many of us have thought, how did this guy even get here, right? There's a funny meme out there where, people are pointing at him and it's like, he's like the Homer Simpson of MMA, right? Like, just bumping into people, falling down, tripping people, just like the clumsiest looking, least slick looking fighter ever, but yet he somehow manages to get the win, right? And so he's constantly and consistently underestimated to the point where I think he's actually even being underestimated in the Hamzat fight. Now, I do think that Hamzat's going to win this one. I really do. But, like, I don't think it's going to be like this will be the deciding factor, because if Dricus gets through Hamzat, like, I think he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the perennial champion for years, right? Like, I don't think there's anybody coming up at middleweight right now who can put him down, if not Hamzat, right? So yeah, Dricus is another one of those guys. Like, we thought, a lot of people thought he lost to Sean Strickland, he would lose to him again. But they did the rematch and he dominated Sean. A lot of people thought he was going to lose to Izzy, but he ended up submitting Izzy. First guy ever to submit Izzy, right? So it's one of those things. Like, he's constantly underestimated. Like, everybody thought he'd lose to Whitaker. That people thought he'd lose to Darren Till. All these different fights, and yet he keeps proving the world wrong. He keeps finding a way to win. Now, this one, Alexander Volkanovski. Now, I know right now in today's day and age, a lot of new fans probably don't remember this, but there was a time when Volkanovski was coming up, and like, he was caught. People were always like, "Oh man, he's not going to win this one. Oh, he's not going to stand a chance against Jose Aldo. He wins, right?" He goes up against Max. People are like, "Oh, Max is going to dominate him, right?" He beats Max not once, not twice, but 3 times. Max Holloway in his prime, right? 3 times. And that should just show you how great Volkanovski was. Because, and I was one of those guys, right? I'm like, oh, he's gonna lose to Max. Nope, it didn't happen. Oh my God, that choke that was in by Brian Ortega. This is it. Like, does he have the ability to get out of this? And almost everybody probably would have tapped to that, but nope, not Volk, right? And he arguably gave Islam his toughest fight of his career up to that point, right? Tooth and nail, really and truly, he won the 5th round, in my opinion, but like, still, a lot of people thought it was just going to be Islam out grappling him the entire time, but he made it a really, really tough fight. And, something that at least made people have a conversation like, oh, did he just beat Islam? Right? So Volk was always underestimated. And even going into the Diego Lopez fight, everybody's like, Diego's got this, right? Volk is washed. His chin's not going to hold up. All these things. And yet, one of the most beautiful moments of 2025 so far was Volk getting his belt back, right? So, Volkanovski is another one of those guys who is constantly underestimated. I gotta say, Bilal Muhammad, right? I remember, like, basically every single fight he's had since that first Leon Edwards fight, and even a few of the ones before that. And every single time people were like, nah, Volk's not getting it done here, right? That fight with Damian Maia, everyone's like, oh, he's going to lose here. He's going to lose to Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy's going to outstrike him. He's going to lose to Gilbert Burns. He's going to lose to so on and so forth. And yet every single time he kept finding a way to win, right? He kept finding a way to get the job done, to the point where people said, oh, Leon's going to destroy him. And what happened? He beat the hell out of Leon, right? And he wins the belt. Now, of course, he lost to JDM in a war, like a really close fight, a war. JDM, I definitely, I think JDM won the more of that. Like, I'd probably give it, 3-2 at least, or maybe 4. But, grueling fight. And people thought, like, oh, he's going to get knocked out. JDM's going to finish him. But here he is, like, really, really close fight. A lot of people thought that that deserved an immediate rematch. And if it weren't for the fact that the UFC hates Bilal, any other championship fight that went that way, I think would have warranted an immediate rematch because of how close and how, like, savage of a fight it was. Another guy who is constantly underestimated is Pantoja. And, like, he now has 4 title defenses, right? And I just remember everybody, like, people constantly saying, oh, if he went to a decision with Steve Erceg, Erceg's not that good, so Pantoja's not that good, right? But he beat Marino. He beat, who's that guy? Kai Asakura, who's supposed to be super hot off the thing. He beat Brandon Royval. And he just submitted Kai Kara France, and like constantly gets, and I think it has to do with the way he fights, right? Like he looks exhausted after the first round every single time, right? And he looks like he's wilting. It looks like all this stuff, but he just keeps going and he keeps on winning, right? So he's another one of those guys that's just constantly underestimated. So this is just a few guys that I think that MMA fans, UFC fans constantly overlook in spite of their records, in spite of their skill sets. And it would be interesting to see um, how things play out in their next few fights, right? Like, who honestly thinks that DDP is going to beat Hamza? I don't. I'm underestimating him, right? Like, I think he's going to get submitted within the first round, but he's always found a way to win before, right? So, like, how can I underestimate that, right? And then you look at Bilal. Who does he fight next? I'd actually like to see him fight Kamaru Usman. I think that would be a really exciting fight, but I think Bilal could actually really do really well there, and so on and so forth. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time.